Hi, guys. So it's been a while. It's been a while, and I did not do any grounding before I got on this live. So life has been really full, which has been fantastic. And I'll tell you bits and pieces of that if it's relevant and important, which it's not right now. So I got off the highway. I was coming back from a couple of adventures that I had earlier today, and I saw traffic and thought it would be a better idea to get off the highway and wait a bit and then get back on the road maybe an hour or so from now when the traffic's died down. However, this is life. On the exit, I realized it was the exit that was backed up and that the traffic past the exit was flowing pretty easily. So this is not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here because I want to talk about money and creatives and people who consider themselves conscientious and people who have committed some part of themselves, some part of their lives to the healing arts in some way, whether it's a sculptural artist or a massage therapist or acupuncturist or counselor, or et cetera, et cetera. However, I'm going to finish this off-ramp story because there's medicine in it for someone, certainly for me. So the exit ramp had more traffic, and that's where it was backed up. And also coming into the city that I've come into, the exit out of the city, because it's time to be done with work and people are going wherever they're going. So into the city is backed up and trafficy, and out of the city, long lines of traffic. And I had a moment where I questioned my choices. And then I realized where I was headed. And I've come down to the downtown area of a town that I've visited a couple of times since I've lived here in this part of the state. And I really like to explore this. There's a lot of neat places to visit. So my point is, many of us, if we are willing to explore and be wrong, but possibly be wrong, many of us are going to find ourselves in really interesting places that might be the long way around a situation, but will also take us to some beautiful new, just to keep it practical, beautiful new businesses that we'd like to support, and definitely beautiful new relationships that are going to help us in some kind of way, or we are going to be helpful to someone in some kind of way. If we're willing to step off and take a risk, step off of the planned trajectory. I just planned on going straight home and follow an instinct. Initially, my instinct felt wrong because I realized the traffic was even greater. I realized that where I headed was where the traffic was. But I don't know, a few miles into the drive, I realized where I was heading. And now I'm sitting next to the water, which is my favorite, one of my favorite places to be. And I have the opportunity to go exploring while I'm waiting for the traffic on the road to quiet down. So, metaphor for life, big picture, life choices. Okay. So, money. I have been a healing arts professional and practitioner for a long time. I started school officially in 1997, and I know some of you watching this were not even born in 1997. So my reason for sharing that is that this conversation of not feeling comfortable with money has been all of my adult life. I have either been having it as the subject of the conversation, or I've spoken with people, my colleagues, teachers, etc., people who didn't feel comfortable. I also found a home in the artist community, And the same theme or thread of thinking came up in the arts community. This dislike, mistrust, fear of, distaste for money and capitalism. So super, super hot outside, which feels really good to me. I love it. Doesn't matter how much I'm sweating, so long as there's a breeze. There's a really good breeze right now. So yeah, I've listened to this from all kinds of directions, primarily from people who are leading with their creative capacity. And you can lead with your creative capacity as a healing arts professional and as a traditionally recognized artist. So what I would like to say is, if you are someone who identifies yourself as not needing money, I don't need money, life's gonna take care of me, it's not about the money, money is a distraction. What else do people say about money? What do you say about money? Like, think about what you say about money. What are your stories about money? If you happen to have, even if you happen to have like really positive relationship with money, you know, just take a quick review of your stories about money. But for those who really struggle with having money, holding on to money, feeling comfortable and confident around money, what do you say about money when you are deflecting it, when you are trying to price your services or your creations, when you have arguments or conversations with people about money, when you're listening to other people talk about money, including in this moment when I'm talking about money? What is coming up? What are the words that you're saying to yourself? And you can pause this video if you're watching it on the replay and just do that exercise. What do I say about money? What are my stories about money? I'm going to focus on the story that says, I don't need money and my work is not about the money. So if that's you, this is a perspective for you to think about and consider and work with. So, when we are struggling, when our energy is caught up in survival of basic needs, our energy is diffuse, it's depleted, it's distracted, it's disconnected. You know, you can feel this. You're worried about how to pay for your room and board, your food, your let's just start with the basics, like where am I going to live, how am I going to pay for the food. When we are distracted as creatives, creators, whether it's creating a healing space for someone through our skills and our gifts, or creating something for someone to appreciate, or something that inspires someone through our art, our expression. When our attention, our creative attention, is diverted towards survival because we are unwilling to allow ourselves to be paid in exchange for sharing our gifts, we are not able to show up for people. The very people that we say we only care about serving get less of our service because so much of our energy is wrapped up in surviving. And by surviving, I just mean even the stress of wondering and worrying about how am I going to pay for the next thing that needs to be covered. So yes, we may tell ourselves everything's covered, everything in divine time, divine alignment, you know the things that we say. Life is looking out for me, I will be provided, etc., etc. Even though we may be telling ourselves that, if we don't truly know that, and if we're not living that experience on the daily with provisions showing up, part of us is going to be attuned towards some kind of survival, whether it's conserving our energy. So we might become withdrawn, we might block the information that's coming, we might feel really fatigued after the one session or two sessions that we're able to do. We might not be able to maintain a full working schedule with people. We may feel creatively blocked, again, if we're working with the traditional artist's expression. So in that way, we are not showing up in our full capacity for service, because we have decided on some level, whether very deeply and in disguise, or whether very openly, that money's not important to us. When in fact, the truth of it is, and that's okay. Something else that I want to consider, that I want you to consider, I've been considering this, I continue to consider this. If you're offering something to the world and your needs are being met in whatever way they're being met, but if you feel like your needs are truly being met, and you have picked up the habit of saying, it's not about the money, or I don't need the money, it's really valuable to recognize that regardless of who we are a channel, we are a conduit for the currency that is money. The electricity that is money, the movement that is money, the flow that is money. So you may not need the money. Maybe you have all of your needs met, and maybe your needs are minimal, maybe they're really extravagant to somebody else's mind. And what I'm saying is, maybe you have all your needs met, maybe you feel truly comfortable in your life. Even to say it's not about the money, I don't need the money, is creating some distortion, some disconnect with the fact that you are still a conduit and a channel. So you may not need the money, but you may be the way to someone else's good. You might receive more than you need, and in receiving more than you need, you might be able to pass it on to someone who needs, or needs in a different way. It's also possible, and I have seen this so many times, artists, healers saying they don't need the money, it's not about the money, push, 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 and then not being able to continue doing their work. And this is really what inspired me to have this conversation with you all today. When we don't allow money to come to us and through us, we are not able to support the physical structures, like the literal physical structures of our business, of our healing practice, of our service, of our art, so that the people that we say we prioritize, the people, the humans that we say our work is really about, we're not able to keep ourselves in business because we're not letting that money come to us. So it's not just about us receiving the money, it's our business that receives the money, so that we can continue to show up for the people that we say our service is for. And that's the big thing that a lot of people in our field don't recognize. Or maybe we do recognize it and we're in denial about it. Our ill relationship and our ill regard for money, it keeps us from serving people in the way that we're really, it keeps us from serving people in the ways that we can really show up and serve, if the things of this world are not plaguing our mind, because we are fully financially resourced in the ways that each of us as individuals feel we need to be financially resourced. So, if that is you, if you are turning away money or trying to make peace with not having money, do whatever shadow work you feel you need to do. Recognize that if all we're doing is spending time on the we don't need money part, and not visiting the side of us that does in fact need money, because that is in fact the world that we live in, then I'm going to ask you to cross over to the other side and do your work in that area as well, and recognize that there is nothing wrong with you for looking at it, for holding cash, for setting rates that are reasonable for you. And I can talk about that in another live. I used to coach people on money. Years ago, I went through a couple of programs about money and money consciousness and our relationship as women and as healing arts practitioners and creatives with money. So I've spent a lot of time thinking about this and have had my own struggles and have been in my own recent initiation again with this question. This is one of the reasons why I still find it so valuable to speak about. Okay, so if you are someone who is currently in some kind of struggle with your finances and you have a story about how you don't need money or it's not about the money, I'm going to ask you to reevaluate that and get really serious about it. Like, not serious, but really clear about what it is you're saying. What is it that you're saying? And it might be different for each of us. Alongside your reevaluation of those statements for yourself, I want you to take into consideration that you do need money and that it is in part about the money, and see what that brings up for you. As an umbrella of this, or the boat of this, however you want to look at it, the foundation, if you are building a business, have dreams of having a business, want to somehow support yourself and your family through your work, your craft, creative arts, healing arts, which I think are the same thing, then recognize that if you're not willing to accept money for your skill set and for your gifts and offerings, you are depriving your business and your livelihood of the resource, one of the primary resources it needs in our culture today to thrive. And if we are depriving our business of one of the primary resources that it needs to thrive, then we are by extension depriving the people that we say we want to serve from experiencing our service, because we won't be able to support them, because we will not be supported. All right. I think I've sweat enough into the camera. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I hope that you find that helpful. Earlier today, I went out and did like some freelance work. I went to a company called Joe Cold, and their website is, I think it's thecoolest.com. So they make thermoses for like keeping things cold. Probably works for hot too, but they're super focused on the cold. And if you're into those drink carriers, they have a lot of really great colors, and it seems like a really great company, really great group of people that I met with. So I just went in for a couple of hours and helped them unload the truck. Super gratifying work for me. I really love physical labor like that, especially when it's got a lot of good breeze. And we were in the shade inside. So anyway, a good sweat. So my point there is that if you feel stuck in some mental process in your life, moving your body, doing something you enjoy. Like, I got a good workout. We were lifting boxes and boxes and boxes and loading and unloading. It was good. It was really good. I didn't have to think about being in a gym. If you love the gym, great. But go move your body and do that exertion and like let that energy move around for you. It will reorder itself. It will contribute to reordering some of your thoughts that might have gotten stuck in a certain place. So I'm going to get off of here and go wander around and see what else is out here. It's super bright, guys, and my eyes, they really feel the sun, so I squint a lot. And I think my nose got some good sun here. I can't really see the screen, but anyway, that's my story and I'm sticking to it. I hope you're all doing well, and I'll see you later.